Over the last few years, we've certainly seen a lot of box office disappointments in general, but specifically when it comes to superhero movies for both Marvel and DC. But when it comes to DC, it looked like they had the crown for biggest box office flop when it came to The Flash. The Flash is officially the biggest superhero box office flop ever, at least when you look at what it brought into the box office versus how much they spent to make and market this movie. And a lot of people thought, well, that's it. That's just going to be the biggest one we've seen this year. But it looks like Marvel is ready to challenge for that. We know that Captain Marvel 2, The Marvels, is going to be a box office nightmare. We've known it from the beginning, but we weren't quite sure just how bad it would be. Well, now that we're only a week away from its official release, the numbers continue to get worse and worse. And now people are looking at the Marvel's pre-sale numbers, and they're realizing that that $70 million number that some people were expecting may have been way too generous. The Marvel's pre-sales are lower than two infamous DCEU bombs, including The Flash. The Marvel's pre-sales are reportedly now pacing behind The Flash, which opened at $55 million. Are you kidding me right now? And this is all coming from a big box office update from Deadline, where they once again tried to do some damage control, explain it away and say, well, you know what? The stars aren't marketing it. Brie Larson's not out there marketing this movie. That's why it's struggling the way it is. It can be argued that part of the expected slowdown next weekend with the opening of Disney Marvel Studios' The Marvels stems from the studio's inability to promote the pick properly at Comic-Cons. Even if the strike settles this weekend, it's not clear whether the pick's cast will be able to attend the movie's fan event in Las Vegas. It would not be shocking if we see The Marvels charting one of the lowest openings for a Marvel Studios movie next weekend with less than $70 million, which would be lower than Eternals. The movie's not only a sequel to Captain Marvel, but also has crossover stuff. Pre-sales are pacing behind that of Black Adam and The Flash. Those openings opened to $67 million and $55 million. We are looking at something that is going to break this infamous record as what is likely to be the biggest superhero flop in history. Now, certainly we've seen things like Shazam 2 and Blue Beetle make way less than something like The Flash, but those didn't cost nearly as much as The Flash cost to make and market. When we're looking at The Marvels, that's the kind of scenario we're in. This is likely something that costs them $300 million or potentially more. One of the most expensive movies they've ever made in Marvel Cinematic Universe history. And right now, just a few days ago, these are the most recent up-to-date box office projections. Between $45 million and $62 million for domestic opening. If it falls on the middle side of that, we are talking about the worst opening in the history of the MCU. And when you're talking about ticket sales, it's probably already going to be that. Because average ticket prices are obviously way up from what they used to be all the way back in 2008. This is, in all likelihood, going to be the biggest failure we've ever seen for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they can make all these excuses in the Deadline article about, well, no one's out there to market this movie. You're literally talking about a movie, Five Nights at Freddy's. Who was out there marketing that movie? Yet it had a $75 million opening weekend on like a $20 million budget, just domestically, $130 million globally. And that also came out on streaming at the same time. So if The Marvels does less than that, what's your fucking excuse? The stars weren't out to promote Five Nights at Freddy's either, yet right now The Marvels is tracking to get far less than it got in its opening weekend, despite it having a 15th of the budget of The Marvels. Just when you think it can't get any worse, we start to get comparisons like this, and now a lot of people are waking up to the realization that you could have thought, oh, those are just projections. They just started pre-sales. Well, here we are a week out, and they're tracking behind one of the biggest superhero bombs we've ever seen with The Flash, and it might just continue to get worse for them. It's been a bad week for Marvel. It looks like next week is going to be bad for them as well. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.